Episode 62, The Frustrated Seller. Opening a food stand may not always lead to success for many sellers. For those who felt the frustrations of not being able to sell their food, there are rare stories of those who would resort in seeking help from the supernatural. In some cases, their business would garner overnight success. But for some, including a seller named Aiden, they would learn about the dangers of such practices. For Aiden, he had spent many years of his life working from one odd job to another. Rarely did he settle down in a job, as he would usually resign from his job within a year, and sometimes even within a couple of months. It's always because of misunderstandings at work or feeling as though he was being looked down by his colleagues. And since Aiden had ongoing mental and emotional issues from a scarred childhood, he tends to be non-tolerant in such circumstances and could hardly socialize with his peers. On top of that, Aiden also felt the pressures and disappointments coming from his parents. With the deep sense of frustrations and also constantly questioning his condition, Aiden wanted to someday succeed. So he decided to start his own drinks stand selling sweet drinks. Aiden borrowed money from his neighbors just so that he could start his business. Day after day, week after week, Aiden tried pushing his drink stand around his neighborhood but was hardly able to make a sale. He would get questions from residents about why he was selling such gimmicky drinks and comments that he would close his drink stand within the next couple of weeks. This was nothing new to Aiden, as he had been looked down often in his life. But the frustrations from not being able to sell his drinks eventually took a toll on him. However, Aiden told himself that he didn't want to give up again. Seeing how he could still barely sell his drinks, even after trying for a few weeks, Aiden finally decided to seek help from a supernatural source that he had heard other food sellers sought help from. Aiden called a neighbor whom he knew had contacts with a witch doctor. Aiden went to his neighbor's home, sat down, and without wasting any time, he asked, "Are you sure, Marco, that you know someone who can help with my drink stand business?" "Yep, Mr. Jackie helped me with my snacks stand. And that guy who lives across our neighborhood as well. The guy that is selling hot soup, and just like you, he had problems too. With Mr. Jackie's help, we both eventually got our small businesses running," said Marco. "Whoa, that's great. I'm going to pay Mr. Jackie a visit as soon as I can," said an excited Aiden. Marco then said, "But wait, just remember that this is between us. Don't let anyone else know about this, or else no one's going to buy any of our stuff." "Yeah, I know," said Aiden. "And one more thing, do this at your own risk. It isn't foolproof, so there's every possibility that the spell can go wrong and no one buys your stuff," said Marco. Aiden nodded and left Marco's home in excitement. Once arrived at Mr. Jackie's home, Aiden went in and told Mr. Jackie about wanting to succeed in his business. A set of rituals was done, and after that Mr. Jackie said, "Okay, Aiden, now that the ritual is completed, it's up to you to execute it." "Okay, Mr. Jackie, what do I need to do to get people to buy my drinks?" asked Aiden. "All you need to do is to put this powder in with your drinks. Then use this bottle of liquid to wipe clean your drink stand, and that's it. Got it?" said Mr. Jackie. Aiden nodded and went back home that night, excited to get started the following day. So the following day finally came after almost staying up all night thinking about his drink stand. Aiden got up, prepared his drinks with the powder that Mr. Jackie gave, and pushed his drink stand out to the streets. Hour after hour, day after day, nothing changed. The sales didn't come in as Aiden had expected. Instead, Aiden got weaker by the day. Aiden initially thought that he was getting sick from pushing around his drink stand every day, and that it was taking a toll on his body. So, after going to the doctor, he was advised to take a rest at home for a couple of days. However, after resting and taking the doctor's medication, not only did Aiden not recover from his illness, he got even more sick. Not knowing what else to do, he contacted Marco, his neighbor who introduced him to the supernatural practices of Mr. Jackie. Aiden called Marco on the phone and said, "Hey, Marco, the rituals of Mr. Jackie, I don't think it's working." "What do you mean?" asked Marco. "Not only are people not buying my drinks, I think it also has something to do with the reason I'm feeling very sick recently," explained Aiden. Marco slightly paused before he replied, "Remember I told you that when you do it at your own risk?" "Yeah, I remember. But I never thought things would go wrong," said Aiden. "Well, it does for many people. So the only thing you should do now is to go back to Mr. Jackie and ask him if he could help," said Marco. "Okay, I will. Can you come along with me as well? I don't think I'm well enough to go on my own this time round," said Aiden. Marco agreed, and the following day, Aiden and Marco arrived at Mr. Jackie's place. Once there, without saying anything, and looking at Aiden's pale face, Mr. Jackie knew what was wrong. Mr. Jackie then asked, "Did you do everything that I told you to do?" "Yes, I did. I put the powder in my drinks, but no one bought it. Instead, I got sick from it," said Aiden. Mr. Jackie then said, "Did you wash your drink stand with the liquid that I gave you?" Aiden immediately realized that he had forgotten to do it and said, "Oh, man, I knew I forgot something." "There you go. It's important that you don't miss any steps. And let me guess, you actually drank your own sweet drinks that you already put my powder in?" asked Mr. Jackie. Aiden then said, "Yes, I did. I was so thirsty when I was pushing my drink stand round. I didn't know I couldn't drink my own sweet drinks." Mr. Jackie and Marco facepalmed themselves, thinking about how ridiculous Aiden can be sometimes. Marco then said, "Have some common sense, man. It's obvious that you got sick because of your own drink, and no one bought your drinks because you forgot to wipe your stand. Even I could make sense of that." Aiden then said, "I know I messed up. I'm sorry, I always do this. Something always goes wrong around me. Mr. Jackie, can you help me with this, sir?" I can try, but I can't guarantee you it will work. If you choose to, you can try. Otherwise, you can completely forget about the whole drink stand thing and find another job. That would be the safest route, if you ask me," explained Mr. Jackie. Aiden then said, "No, I want to succeed with this. Please help me. I really want this." Mr. Jackie then began a set of rituals before eventually handing over a bag of powder to Aiden. Mr. Jackie then said, "Okay, Aiden, we can try this. You can try to see if this works. If it doesn't, you should stop your business before it harms you further." Aiden agreed, and over the coming days, he used the bag of powder to put in his drinks. This time round, Aiden did remember to wipe his drink stand with the liquid Mr. Jackie provided. However, his situation remained the same. No one bought his drinks, but he did eventually recover from his illness. As he was no longer sick, Aiden was motivated again to succeed in his drink stand business. So he continued, and gradually, more people began buying his drinks. Aiden was happy that he was finally able to sell them. But one morning, Aiden woke up, got ready, and went out to continue selling his drinks. However, as he tried to call out to the residents to promote his drinks, he realized that he was constantly stuttering. Aiden tried and tried to voice out what he wanted to say, but he kept stuttering. Aiden found it to be really strange, as this had never happened to him before, despite his mental issues. Aidan became really worried as he knew something wasn't right. So, after selling a few drinks in the area, Aidan went to Marco's home to explain the problem he was facing. The pair then went back to Mr. Jackie's home to seek help. That was when Mr. Jackie told Aidan, "I told you before, right, that it would be a risk? You messed it up the first time around, so whatever you gained from the spell has resulted in the spirits taking something away from you. And in this case, your speech." Aidan begged and begged Mr. Jackie to help him get his normal speech ability back. Mr. Jackie then said, "It's now out of my control. You had your chance to change things and you messed up. Then you took the risk to succeed. So there's nothing else that I can do for you. Please leave my home." Aidan and Marco left the home as Aidan began shedding tears of regret. He never knew that the price he had to pay for seeking help from the supernatural would come to this. Aidan never knew that he would have to give up his ability to speak properly. Time passed by, and Aidan continued with his business. Even though his business succeeded to the point that he was able to take good care of himself, his stutters got worse. Aidan was never as happy or satisfied as he once was when he could speak well. Aidan regretted every single day for having engaged the supernatural. He never knew that he would get into such dangers, getting sick and eventually losing his speech ability. If only Aidan could turn back time, never would he have engaged in such activities, just so that he can have the easy path to a successful business.